What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So hopefully your weekend has been going extremely well, but let's get into the update for today. First off, we're going to talk about what's next. What are lawmakers going to do next to try to get this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill passed? We're also going to address a little bit of the stimulus update. Going to talk about how American savings is actually in question and how this is turning into a major problem. Want to address how lawmakers are asking for more assistance. And lastly, we're going to address President Biden's possibly failed mandate of vaccines. So we're going to address all that. And then I also want to touch on one thing that, and I'll just bring it up right now so you can think about it, but schools are across the country are wanting to start vaccinating children themselves. Think about this. Children are going to be vaccinated by school staff, teachers, educators, people that haven't been trained. But I'm going to address that at the end of this video, but think about that. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, you can answer that in just a minute. Let's get to the update. First, Democrats want to work to get closer to a deal on this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill. We know they've been fighting for this for a while. We still know they're waiting on the CBO score from the Congressional Budget Office. That is one of the requirements for the moderates in the House and the Senate to really move forward with this bill. If it doesn't come back as expected, then there's questions whether or not this bill will even be pushed forward and whether moderates are going to hold off on this. According to multiple reports, what we are hearing is that many Democrats, mostly progressives, but many Democrats as well, are a little bit skeptical that Senator Joe Manchin is actually going to hold up this entire bill and wait until 2022 to see it pass. Now, that it's plausible that could happen, but just understand, according to President Biden, he is going to secure the 50 votes needed in order to get this passed through the Senate. But there was no promise that he has the votes in the House to get this bill passed. And that is a big question mark as well, are the group of moderates, and it's usually, I think it's like mainly 6 moderates in the House that are threatening to pretty much stop this bill from going through because, number one, it doesn't have the CBO score. Number two, they are worried, and I think the pressure is coming from Senator Joe Manchin. They're a little bit worried that we are going to see additional inflation that could hurt the American people even further. So I'll address that in a minute as well, because that kind of ties into the Americans' problems with savings at this time. We do know the goal as of right now is to get answers from the Senate parliamentarian. We still don't have answers as to whether or not Elizabeth McDonough, who is the Senate parliamentarian, she is going to go forward with the immigration bill that Democrats have put in front of her. This is the third round. The first and the second one, she said, that doesn't work. And so they went back for a third time. We're going to see whether or not this goes through. We also know progressives are still fighting to see dental and vision included into the Medicare expansion. Senator Bernie Sanders brought this up again, that dental is a vital piece of healthcare. And let me ask you this. If you had one piece of healthcare, okay, what is it? Would you rather have vision, dental, or hearing? Which one would you rather have out of those 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. Which one would you prefer? We also know Senator Joe Manchin, he hasn't said publicly whether or not he would accept Nancy Pelosi's paid leave provision. Remember, she added this back in last week, but right before that, Joe Manchin said no, that he didn't support this. But then we got reports that, okay, he could potentially get on board. However, there has to be some type of restriction. There has to be some type of restriction. There has to be some type of a work requirement included here. But Democrats, they say no, we don't want additional work requirements. So here's what I can tell you. The expectation is we have 2 weeks from today, okay? 2 weeks from today in order to get this bill passed, because according to multiple reports, it was said that President Biden, he wanted to make sure that this bill gets passed the week of November 15th, okay? That would be 2 weeks from last Monday, okay? This previous Monday. So 2 weeks from today is when this bill should pass at the latest. My expectation is it's going to take a little bit longer. So we'll see what happens there. Also, let's talk about the Americans' problems with savings. In a recent poll, Americans answered that some very tough questions. One of the questions that they answered indicated that 20% of U.S. households actually went through their entire savings throughout the pandemic. Everything, all their savings accounts, investments, they went through it, they blew through it. 20% of U.S. households. That's a staggering number. But here's another big number. 30% of people making less than $50,000 per year, they lost all of their savings. All of it. 30% of people making less than $50,000 per year. Those are considered the lower income earners. Many people who make less than $50,000 per year have said that they can't pay their rent every month. It's not possible. They have to pick and choose. Some said that there are certain days that they have to decide whether they will eat today or should they pay their bills. That would be a very tough situation to be in as well. And a good portion of lower income families have said that when they or their children are sick, they must still go to work and school. They cannot afford to miss a day of work. And let me ask you, have any of these things ever happened where you have to decide, do I pay rent today or do I hold money for food and other things? Do I pay for food or should I pay for other bills? Should I go to work today even though I'm sick? I'm coughing, I'm contagious, right? Chances are I'm gonna get the whole office sick. Or do I stay home and risk not having enough money to pay for food or for rent next month, right? Have you ever gone through any of these? I can tell you I have. When I was young, I actually went through these, right? And it's not a situation that you want to be in, especially every day or every month. It's difficult. And from recent interviews from lawmakers, okay, many have said that we need to provide more assistance and we needed to see a more of an even recovery throughout the pandemic, but we didn't see that. And I addressed this early on, and I said that we are seeing the beginning signs of a K-shaped recovery. That's exactly what we're still seeing today. Right now, they say too many low-income households didn't see the same booming economy that upper-income earners had. And I can attest to this. There's a lot of lower-income earners that didn't get to see the same results. They didn't get to go invest into things like the stock market and Bitcoin and see the surges in value. They weren't able to invest in real estate, and it's because they were just, have less income. And with everything increasing in price, it pretty much priced out the lower income earners. And it made things very difficult. They also say that right now, this is why we need to mandate additional savings and investments from employers. Remember, I talked about this probably a month, maybe 2 months ago, that there was a group of Democrats that were proposing mandates and additional provisions to provide more savings, or to mandate every single employee has to put so much aside for into their retirement accounts, and the employer would either have to match it or whatever, right? This is also why there was a provision out there in a different bill, a proposal, where students in high school had to be taught how to save money in retirement and more financial literacy. Okay, and honestly, I think this is incredible. I think this would be great, but I honestly don't think this is going to happen. So we'll see what happens there. But right now, a lot of people blew through their savings, and this is causing a huge issue. And let me ask you this: did you use any of your savings? You didn't have to use 100%, but did you have to dive into savings or into an emergency fund just to get through this pandemic? Let me know down in the comment section below. But let's talk about vaccines for a second. A federal appeals court actually suspended President Biden's vaccine mandate for private companies. This actually happened the other day. But the judges wrote, and I quote, "There was cause to believe that there are grave statutory and constitutional issues with the mandate." So, what does this mean moving forward? Well, here's what I can tell you. What we know is right now there's going to be a judicious review of the mandate. We also know that this actually prevents President Biden's mandate from moving forward. So depending on how long this takes, it's actually just going to push back that mandate. So this means starting in December, there will not be a requirement for unvaccinated employees to wear a mask at work. Okay, that's from a federal level. Now, whether your employer decides to do this or whatever, that's really up to them. This also means that come January 6th, unvaccinated people will not have to get tested weekly as well. Okay, but here's something I want to address. Right now, what we know is that tomorrow, the court actually gave the Justice Department until tomorrow at 5 p.m. in order to respond to the request for a more permanent mandate or a more permanent halt to this mandate. Okay, so just understand tomorrow afternoon we should have more updates on this. We should definitely have more updates throughout this week. So as always, I promise I'll keep you updated on that as well. But here's something I want to ask you guys, and I want to ask a lot of you parents, but also if you don't have children, I want to ask you as well. What we're hearing is many elementary schools across the United States are now considering and preparing to offer COVID vaccines through the actual school and on-site in the facility. Okay, these schools, and a little bit of an issue that I have with this is that schools they're pretty much coming out and saying, we have the trusted staff members, we have the educators that these children are around every single day. So who would they want more to give them the shot than somebody that they see every single day, like a teacher or a receptionist or a staff member at the school? Well, the issue that I have with this is an educator is not essentially trained at giving a shot. Even though providing a shot is not that difficult, okay? Just based off of what I've read. Again, I'm not a doctor, not a nurse, I'm not a physician, I'm nothing, right? Just a guy on YouTube. But from what I've read, it's not that difficult. But here's the issue: is what if the person just can't get the shot in, right? The kid's screaming, the kid moves. What do you do then, right? There's other issues. There's some legal issues here. There's some liability issues here, right? Some big ones. And so that's my issue, is these are not trained physicians that are trained to give a shot or to watch to make sure you don't have any adverse effects, right? Adverse reactions. They're not trained to do that, right? I don't go to the physician's office to ask about a math problem. I go to a school. Same thing, I would not go to a school to get a vaccine that my doctor should be giving me, right? So here's my thing, and I've said this before, I'm all for vaccines. Okay, I think they do help. There's a place for them. I got mine, but I'm not going to push it on somebody else. I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, go to that school, get the vaccine. No, I'm not doing that. I wouldn't take my child to school and have them give the vaccine there. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so I just thought I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of articles saying that, yes, this has been floated by multiple school districts across the United States, that these elementary schools are going to start to do that because they say it is more beneficial to have a trusted staff member be the one to provide these shots, because it would make children feel more at ease. And it's possible. It's quite possible this would work. But at the same time, is this the best idea? Is this the best idea we can come up with? Probably not. Probably not. So I just want to get your take on this. But again, this is what we know. These are the stories that are coming out, is that, okay, the vaccine for children 5 to 11 is there. Cool. That's great. But should we be giving them at the school? Honestly, is that the best idea we can come up with? I don't know. So let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. But that is what we know as of right now. As I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Hopefully you had an incredible weekend and your week will be even better. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next.